And like if you're making it too big, it disappears. So you can always like make it overflow here so that it doesn't matter how big it is. I'm going to make it a bit darker. And what am I doing? Oh, and then so there's some cool stuff you can do with the text. You can actually do like less than, be greater than, just like HTML. You can make it like bold. So you can put like less than end thing. So that's the beginning and the end of a bold text. And you can also do like italic with I. And you can also do color equals, and don't do any spaces, and then that thing, and then whatever color you want. So I usually just like find the color I want in here and like copy this, and then just undo it and paste it into after that. And then end color, so that can do like different colors for like certain sections of text. So that's kind of fun. Maybe I'll make this one italic. Bam. And you're probably going to want a better font than this. I'm going to put a link below for this address once it loads. So you can just go like find some free font on like a website like this one. So you can just download that. So I already downloaded this one, but you can do like whatever font you want, obviously. But this one is free for commercial use. So it doesn't really matter what I do with it, I guess. So I already downloaded that. It's on my desktop. And you can just drag your new font into Unity. I'm going to create a folder called fonts, put it in there. So now on this guy, you can change Arial. I click a little circle thing beside it, and then choose your other font. This font is always kind of a little not centered, and it doesn't have a bold for whatever reason, but anyway, that looks kind of cool. I'm going to put a space there. And another thing you can do is go add component, outline. So find the outline script, and I'm actually going to make my button a different color so it's easier to see this. Whatever color. So you can add this outline thing, and then I'm going to make mine white and make it fully visible. And then you can make these numbers bigger. So you could do that. You can make it whatever color you want. If you just drag this out, you can see all it's doing is just duplicating the text. So it's just a simple little overlap kind of thing. And you can choose like how far they're spread out. So it's just like a really cheap little effect, but I think it's pretty cool. And maybe we should give our button the same animation stuff that we have on the other ones. So animation, drag our button animator, and press play. Yeah. Bam. Pick my character and I'll play my game. And so let's make an input field to enter our player name, because that would be cool. So right click canvas, UI, input field, and I'm going to make it the same size as my button, so that was like 380 by 85. 380, 85. I'm just going to use this cheap tool to like, I'm just going to move this down actually. Just fit it in between here. Let's see if I can just not break things and move this up. Position. I'm going to make the text, so there's the placeholder text that we can see right now. I'm going to make it my cool luckiest guy font and make it like 46. And I'm going to move it down like, I don't know, minus. So this is a cool thing too, is instead of trying to figure out the math, if I want to move it down by like minus 15, I can literally write minus 15 and percenter. Or I just want to do plus 15 top plus 15, maybe plus 25, maybe plus 20. Alright, so whatever, and then this one I can do plus 20. So it's cool, you can do like multiplied by whatever. So if I wanted to make this thing exactly double the size, but I didn't want to figure out the math, I can just go times 2 or whatever for its height here. So like times 2 or divided by 2 or whatever. So it's like a built-in calculator. Anyway, so that placeholder text was 46, so I'll make this the actual text 46. So if I was typing into it, make it luckiest guy. I like it to be a darker color. And just leave that blank. And then on the placeholder text, make it say like enter name. And here's something that's kind of annoying. So when you press play here, you might have a problem where I can press space, right? But if you ever press display 1 up here, if you ever press that, you're screwed, because you try to type, you're like, hey, space, and it brings up that you can't enter space. So never touch this stupid drop down thing, and if you have that problem, let's just save this scene. Title, save. So if you have that problem, just quit Unity and reopen it. That's all you can do. So now that I reopened it, that stupid thing, just like never touch that thing. Now I can use all the spaces I want. Yeah, so that's a bug in Unity, just in the editor. So let's just copy our exit button. So right click, copy, and let's make, actually gonna make a folder for the scenes. Put title in there. So let's go new scene and create UI canvas. Make it the same as our other one, so it was scale with screen size, expand, and then let's go right click that and go paste, and make sure it's inside the canvas, so I guess drag it inside the canvas. So we've got our little quick gameplay button, and let's go file, save scene as level 01. And now let's go file, build settings, and put both our scenes in there. And make sure title is the first one, and if they're in the wrong order you can just drag them. But make sure the one that's the top is title, and remember it's got a 0 there. So let's make a script on this button to go back to the title scene. So let's create a folder for our scripts called scripts, and create C# script gameplay canvas, and wait for the spinny thing in the bottom right to finish spinning. And then on our canvas, let's just attach that, and then double click it to open it. Alright, so we're inside this gameplay canvas. I think I'm just going to delete all that crap. And we're going to go using Unity engine .scene management and go public void press exit and go scene manager .load scene, and you could put the name, but I'm just going to put 0 So that will do in the build settings. That will be 0, so that will be the title scene because they're in the right order. So save that. So press exit. Want to call that when we press the button. So on our button guy has the click thing, go plus, and then drag our canvas onto it and find the script on the canvas, which was gameplay canvas, and then press exit. So that's like clicking that button. So let's save the scene, press play. So click, and it goes back here. And I guess this one we want to like close the whole program. So let's go back to our title scene, and let's create a script for this canvas too. So create C# script, title canvas, wait for it to finish loading, and then select canvas, drag it on, and open it. So on our title canvas, we want to do the same thing. Let's just copy this. So scene management, and so if you press the play button, so we'll do public void press play. Then we would do the same thing we had back here, but we would go to number 1 instead of 0 to load that scene. And we should also do like a quit button, so public void press quit, and we would go application dot quit. Bam. Go back to the scene after we saved, wait for the spinny loady stuff, and then our buttons, we'll link them up. So play button, add a plus thing, get our canvas, find our title canvas script, and then our press play function, and then on our exit button, same stuff, canvas, title canvas, press quit. So save that. Let's actually go to build settings, and I'm on PC Windows version, so I'm just going to leave that and go build. I'm just going to right click and create a folder to put this in. I do not want this in the assets folder, so make sure you don't do that. Just call it build and save, and this way we can just check that it actually closes the application. So there's the build, so open that. I'm just going to leave it windowed. Hibbit tanks made with Unity. Oh yeah, choosing my character. What's up? Play now. Get out of here. Close the application. So it all works. So that's cool. Now we're going to do something that I think is pretty cool. We're going to create an empty, and it's just an empty game object, and call this game manager. And we're going to make this thing exist across different scenes. So let's create a script called game manager. So C# script, game manager, wait for the loading, and then drag it onto the game manager. Open that up. I'm just going to remove this start in the update. So we're going to have a public static game manager, like this script, instance. We're going to call it instance. So because it's static, public static, that means that all the scripts in the game are going to be able to refer to this script and get information out of it. And go void awake. So this is going to run before all the start functions and all these other scripts that by default when you make them they have that start function. So awake is going to happen before start. And we're going to go if instance. So basically, if this script already exists, if a game manager already exists, then destroy this game object. Else, if this instance doesn't exist yet, then instance equals this. And in that case, we're going to go don't destroy on load game object. So what this is going to do, it's kind of confusing as hell, but basically, when we enter this scene, there's this game manager, and it's going to check if there's already a game manager, and if there's not, then it's going to be like, this game manager is the game manager. And if one already exists, then it's just going to kill itself and delete itself. So this game manager, if I press play, and we go to the next scene, it still exists. And we can put information on it in this scene, like the player's name, and then be like using that information. And then if we go back, there's not two of them, even though it still exists, because the other one just deleted itself. So basically, this game manager thing will just like exist forever, no matter how many times you go to different scenes, even going back to the same scene. So on our game manager, let's go public string player name and save. And so it's going to have this public thing. So when we're playing the game, we can enter the name in here and then like save it onto this. So it's like Bob. And then you go to the next scene and it's like Bob. So then a script in here can be like get that name and paste it into me kind of thing. So let's go to the title script, title canvas. Up here we'll go public input field. So we're going to need to go using Unity Engine UI, and now we can go public input field, player name input, and save that. And then on our canvas here, we want to have that input field. So here's our input field. I'm just going to rename it to like input name. So on our canvas, I'm going to drag input name right there. So now whatever we write in here, we can refer to it in here as player name input. So when we press play, let's go player has entered a name. So if player name input dot text dot length, so how many letters they entered, it's greater than 0. So they have to enter something. So if they don't enter anything, we're just not going to do anything. So they have to enter a name. And then we're going to set the name into our game manager where we have player name here. So onto that, onto like right here basically. So we know that we have a name, so we're going to go, and since it's a public static instance, we can just go game manager dot instance, and now we're in that script dot player name equals player name dot input dot text. So that's like set name and load level. So game manager dot instance dot player name is just like get into this game manager thing and get into this player name right here. So if I press play, I have the game manager selected just to like look at it. So I'll press play, and I didn't enter a name, so it doesn't do anything. And if I was like Gooberhead, and then play, now Gooberhead is right there in the game manager, and we're in a different scene. And if we go back, it still says it, unless we change it to fart monkey. Bam, now it says fart monkey. So when we come back here, it would be kind of nice if this said the name too, right? Because if we have our name and we come back, we still know what the name is, but we didn't put it back here. So let's just like set it right here again. So in our title canvas, let's have our start. So we'll do void start, which I guess I shouldn't have deleted before. So basically the opposite of this right here. Right? So player name input text equals the game manager's player name. Right at the start of the scene. Press play. And there is no name. Full face. Play. Go back. And it already says it. Play. Go back. So we kept our name. But if I stopped playing and then I play again, of course the name is gone now, right? So what we can do is actually store the name in our preferences. So let's go to the game manager and let's make a public void set preferences. So this is kind of a way of saving, but it's totally unreliable and stupid to save this way. So like never save anything important here. Like this is a way to save like your screen resolution settings or like your volume, like the player left the game volume at a certain level or something, like really unimportant things. Never save like player progress or anything important here. So I'll probably do a different tutorial in the future of how to do like proper save data. But just for like saving something that's not too important, you can go player prefs dot set string. So there's float, enter, string. So you can sort of really unreliably save a number or a text string. So string, and we just give it a name like player name. So that's just what this information thing is kind of called. And then we give it a value of like what it is. So player name, right? So we're saving a preference called player name as whatever we entered for our player name. And then so in the awake here, when we first use this game object, we can kind of like load that. So we can go player prefs dot get string, and we use this player name, the same name here, and we kind of load it. So there's a default value, so I'm just gonna like have it just empty. So if there's nothing there, it's empty. So we can go our player name equals get player prefs dot get string player name. So this is basically like loading it, and this is like saving it. So we actually have to like call this set preferences thing. So in the title canvas, after we entered our name and we're loading the level, let's just go game manager dot instance dot set preferences. So that should make it save. So the last time I was doing this, I saved it as Jar Jar Pinks. But for you, it should just be blank. So yo-yo head play, and if I stop and I was to play again, it should load yo-yo head. Bam. So now we've got like a consistent remembering our name. So let's also remember like which tank guy that we chose. So let's go to the game manager and also have a public int player tank number. And so when we're loading, we're going to go player tank number equals player prefs dot get integer player tank number, which by default will be 0, and save it the same way, player prefs dot set integer player tank number, player tank number. So now we need to actually set the player tank number in the first place. So in our canvas script, title canvas, not our gameplay canvas, title canvas, public void press tank, and we'll have an integer, just call it number, I guess. So we're going to click on a tank and we're going to send a number into it, and then use that to go to the game manager dot instance dot player tank number equals that number that we just entered into this thing. And in our canvas, under the tank selection, let's select our first button, our tank guy, and have another little plus here, and put our canvas on it, and go to title canvas, and press tank, and it has a little integer, so we can enter a number. So this guy would be 0, so we'll just leave it. And then this guy's the second one, so plus, canvas, title canvas, where are we? Press tank, and this guy would be number 1. And then this guy plus canvas, press tank number 2, because it starts at 0, so 0, 1, 2, and 3. So this guy plus canvas, title canvas, press tank 3. So it's going to go and pass a 3 into this thing, and then choose that guy. And let's also go to our event system, and where it has that first selected button, let's just turn that off. So let's just go none, and let's select them ourselves. So we'll remember which one was chosen and select that one. So let's go back to the title canvas, and we'll add a public button array, so these square things make it like a list basically, and call it tank buttons. And so we'll save that, and then these are going to be in the same order as these numbers that we used. So where are we? So there's tank buttons, and there's 4 tanks, so I'm going to put a 4 there, and we'll drag the first button, button 0, and then button 1, and then 2, and then 3. So that's 0. So that's element 0, 1, 2, and 3. And go back to our script. So when we start, since our game manager is in charge of the awake stuff, it's already going to know which tank button number needs to be selected first. So awake happened first, and then there's the start. We're going to go tank buttons, and then inside here, this would be the first one, like 0, and then 1 would be the second one, and 2 would be the third, etc. So we're going to go game manager dot instance dot tank player tank number. So that's going to be 0, 1, 2, or 3, and that's going to choose from that list the first, second, or third guy. We want to, on our button, we have our little on-click thing, right? We want this to happen so that, say it's this guy is the number that we remembered. On him, we're gonna go and make this click thing run, and then that will like choose the right image for here because it'll do this stuff. It's kind of complicated, but anyways, so we're gonna go tank buttons, that guy in the array, and then go on click, and we're gonna go invoke, which will like make it run basically. Like it thinks that we just clicked it. And then we're also gonna go this same thing again, but then we'll just go select to select the button, since it's not going to automatically be selected. We click on one of the tank buttons and we get this number and we save it into the game manager, and then we actually saved it. And yeah, so anyway, let's just press play and see if it works. And that's probably like the last one I clicked on when I was doing this before. So if I click on like the red guy and red guy, play and stop, it's going to have saved that. So when I press play, it remembered number 1 because the red guy was passed in number 1 for the player tank number, and then in this list number 1 is this button, which is the red guy, so it like made him get pressed, which made it selected up here, and also it selected him, so he's bigger than the other ones. So stop. Yeah, so if I have to press play to actually save it though, so if I call it Jar Jar Pinks, play, stop, press play, it should automatically select Jar Jar Pinks. Yeah. Bam. So you can actually see on the game manager the tank number is in the little thing right there too. So it has the name and the number of the tank.
Are you tired of video game reviews that just scratch the surface? Where the reviewer is rushing through what might be an epic, life-changing experience so they can write up a 1,000-word review, slap a number on it, and get it out the door as soon as possible? Well, check out The Nth Review and Nth Briefly. The Nth Review is a documentary-style video game review series you can really sink your teeth into. Don't have 30 to 40 minutes to get your fill? Nth Briefly is here for your insightful, snack-sized takes. Check out youtube.com/nthreview. That's youtube.com/nthreview. youtube.com/nthreview. Like and subscribe today.